We're going to get to that, but first I need to deliver the pledge. If y'all can please rise and join me.
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright, this is awesome! Because we're going to win on November 8th. Illinoisans have had enough. We've had enough of these people. We know what they're about. The veil's been lifted. They've shown all their cards. They want to keep you locked out. They're talking about vax mandates. They want you to pay more. There's nothing in your business that they don't think they know how to do better and how to make you do it. That's the Democrat Party in the state of Illinois, and we're going to turn it around, and we're going to do it this year. And all another note, oh by the way, I want everybody to pay attention. You must vote no on Amendment 1. You are literally insane if you are going to hand over to the government unions one more ounce of power in this. You know, it does tell you something when the liberal media has even said, vote no. That tells you even they can't stand it. All right, so I'm really excited to be able to, it's an honor to be up here and get to introduce a lot of good candidates. And we've just got a few minutes before we get the rock stars to come on stage here. But we've got our own, we've got great candidates running at all levels. And this guy has been a personal friend of mine. That, folks, is Keith Peacock. We're sending a real fighter to Congress, because we're sending Keith Peacock to Congress, and he's going to defeat people like Sean Casten, who I will tell you, in private conversations, when I was running against Sean, the lobbyists would say, we don't like him. We don't like him. People would come back from Sean Casten's office and say, he was hiding in the back room. He wouldn't even visit with us. He said,
background in an aerospace engineering degree. I flew in the Air Force. I was an F-15E instructor, weapons system officer with 3 tours over Iraq. Small business owner and mayor, and probably as mayor, you know me for 2 things. One is keeping Orland Park open during COVID. And 2, fighting the safety act against David Pitzer. I'm going to beat Sean Casten. Sean Casten knows he's in trouble. You know why he knows he's in trouble? He brought in, what we know he knows he's in trouble? He brought in Nancy Pelosi. 2 Fridays ago. And the press asked me, why do they only talk about one thing? I said, well, the people in Illinois care about the economy and crime. Those are the issues.
My name is Shannon Teresi, and I'm running because Illinois is the most corrupt, fiscally mismanaged, and highest tax state in the nation. And we are going to change that this November 8th. I am a CPA. I am a forensic accountant, certified in fraud examination. I am a big deal. Wouldn't it be great to have a fraud examiner in charge of our taxpayer money here in Illinois? Not only am I a forensic accountant, I'm a certified internal auditor trained to change the state's finances and have a proven track record to do it. And that's what I'll do for the state of Illinois. I will be the most qualified comptroller.
Talk about 2 of my favorite words, freedom and liberty.
That's right!
The Safety Act. I did a debate with Attorney General Raul, and he actually, I pinned him in a corner, figuratively speaking, be on television saying divorce, threatening violence, because he's a Republican. And he said he's going to defend it, and that it's constitutional. Notwithstanding, 60 state's attorneys in this state, Democrat, Republican, have sued him and the governor, saying it's unconstitutional. And I told them that if I'm the Attorney General, those 60 will have a new friend, and that will be the Attorney General of this state suing all of them. Because 8 years of our lives, together and separately sometimes, fighting for what makes us great, and that is liberty, that is freedom, that is the right to govern ourselves the way that we see best. And if you elect us, we will get rid of that tyrant J.B. Pritzker and his little lapdog, Raul. Thank you.
I think I forgot to say Happy Halloween. You know up in Washington, D.C. though, right? It's who loves America in this group? Who loves the freedom that our forefathers fought and died for? I like to say that Daren Bailey's vision of Illinois gives us hope. To restore hope. And you know what I am? I am pure adrenaline to see that it happens. I'm Kathy Salvia. I'm the Republican nominee for the United States Senate. I have spent the last several days at election booths. I've been at the train station since 6 in the morning, and I go to the all-night diners till I practically fall. My staff can tell you. Economy in the state of Illinois, we passed $1 trillion. That is an applause line. That is actually what applause is. It is. Imagine if we were business friendly. Imagine that. We lose business every single day to other states, and that has got to stop. And there's nobody who's better able to articulate that discussion than Don Tracy, but that's not why he's here. He's here to introduce the other part of the team, so welcome, Don Tracy.
Which I unapologetically tell people it's the very best county in this great state of Illinois. Thank you guys so much. I may think sometimes that I'm kind of important because I'm running for lieutenant governor, but it doesn't take long for one of my kids to remind me that I'm just a mom. My son's an Apple genius, so he even taught my granddaughter how to track where I am from my phone. So I get a call, and my daughter-in-law, Mom, why are you at Walmart? I think they wanted me to pick up milk. I'm like, I'm kind of at an important thing right now. What are you doing at the Walmart? That's my Walmart right over there. I tell you guys, this 8 days, and then I get to take a nap. But when I think about a Walmart, and as I joke, that I don't want to live more than 5 minutes away from a Walmart. But then when I go to the west side of Chicago, where I grew up, and they don't have a grocery store, that bothers me. And that's when I'm thinking about how great Chicago was when I was a kid. It was a phenomenal place to grow up. I told everybody I was from the west side. I couldn't wait. You said that, oh, I'm from the west side of Chicago. I could spend my McDonald's check 4 blocks from my house. I never had to leave my community. It was safe. We had grocery stores. There were no vacant lots filled with garbage and graffiti everywhere. And when I go over there now, it's unrecognizable to me. And when I'm lieutenant governor, I'm not going to rest until the west side has a grocery store, a Walmart, or something that they don't have to go to the park. By this opportunity, you guys know when my radio career ended, all I wanted was another radio show. I would have been the happiest person. 3 hours, once a week to get on to bash a few Democrats. I would have been a happy woman. But isn't it so phenomenal that God's vision board for me was so much bigger than what I ever imagined?
Democrats indicted or convicted, and 9 Chicago aldermen, all Democrats, indicted or convicted. No wonder Democrats are so soft on crime. One was to Kuwait, the other was to Iraq. She is now a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserves.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for your service, Tulsi Gabbard. Very tempting just to bring her on right now. But I don't want to. The Democrat Party no longer supports working families, and Tulsi Gabbard supports all those and more. Bring it on, Tulsi Gabbard!
Aloha! Oh, it's so nice to see all of you here tonight. Aloha! We close our eyes. It's so warm outside, we might just imagine we're back in Hawaii, right? Please have a seat. It is truly a privilege to be able to be here and campaigning, going to different states across the country. Since October 11th, I've been on the road helping great American patriots who have stepped up and answered that call to serve. Those great American patriots are leaders who are embodying the kind of courage that our country so desperately needs right now. Army, go Army. Isn't there a big game coming up? Army, go Army, beat baby? No? All right. But you know what's funny is as I've gone to these different places, at almost every single stop, including here, there's been a reporter who has said, hold on a second. You were a Democrat just a few weeks ago. Now you're here supporting a staunch conservative, Daren Bailey. How does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
My answer has been, it only doesn't make sense if you're focused on the wrong things. And so as all of you who are here, you're coming and lifting your voices to support Daren and Stephanie, what you do tomorrow and for the next 8 days really matters the most. Because you're going to have maybe similar conversations like that with people who say, no, I've been a Democrat my whole life. How could I vote for a Republican? You got to have a good answer to that question, and not one that says, well, Democrats are bad, Republicans are good. Speak from your heart. Focus on the right things, the most important things, which are what? What is the one thing that connects all of us in this room tonight? Yes, common sense, safety, care for our economy, but what is the one thing? We are all proud Americans, every one of us. And no matter our background, where we come from, our story, the way we worship, or what color our skin is, all of these different things, the thing that connects and binds us together is that we are all God's children. And we stand proudly together as Americans, fighting for this country that we love. And so, yes, it's important to get out the vote. But don't limit yourselves to only speaking to people who agree with you. Or people who you think, like, well, I can't go talk to them because they're on the other team. Who are we really fighting for? We're fighting for this country. We're not just fighting for half the country. We're not just fighting for half of Illinois. If we are who we claim to be, people who love this country, that means we love all of our fellow Americans. And we stand up for what is right. We stand up for freedom. We stand up for justice. We stand up for every single person's ability to be able to lift their voices. If we are not willing to fight for those who disagree with us, then we're no better than the other guys.
That's right.
And I think that you will find, as I have, as I've heard from so many people across the country over the last few weeks, Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians, people who use all the different labels, so many people expressing, thank you for speaking what I have been feeling for so long. Thank you for giving voice to my frustrations and my fears. Because we live at a time in this country that's so dangerous, where people are afraid to speak. People are afraid to stand up for what's right, for fear of losing your job or losing a loved one who might be offended by what you said. It's happened to me, I know it's happened to a lot of us. Now is the time for courage, and that courage comes from within each and every one of our hearts. We have to walk the talk. Not just stay home and say, gosh, I wish somebody would do something about all of this insanity. Amen. Somebody said, we the people. Yes. Our founders chose those first 3 words with great intention, because they understood that throughout time, we the people would face great challenges. We would face governments overstepping their boundaries and seeking to control every part of our lives. That we would end up with people in power who would abuse that power, putting their own selfish interests ahead of the interests of the people. It's not them, those other guys. It's not only those people who hold those fancy titles, or only the people who are on TV. No, it is every single one of us. Every one of us. And we should be getting up in the morning and looking in the mirror and saying, what am I doing today to save this country? Who am I going to go and speak to share what's in my heart? The person, the child, the loved one who I'm fighting for. Because I know we all have them. We all have our own stories, our own purpose and passion and fire that's driving me to be here tonight on Halloween. You could be anywhere else. The most precious thing that every single one of us has in life is time. Once we give that away, it can never be given back. It can never be taken back. So your choice in being here tonight says a lot about you and about the future of this country than I am now. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm not back home in Hawaii. That's why I'm here with all of you. Because whether it's with Governor Pritzker or the radical woke agenda being pushed by Democrats in Washington, those who seek to undermine our fundamental freedoms at every opportunity, and who dangerously are using the force of law to do so, politicizing the Department of Justice and the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Education, the Department of Health and Human Services. You go down the list, and these institutions that literally exist to serve the best interest of the people are unfortunately being weaponized to serve their best political interests at the expense of every single one of us. It's just like every one of you, and he's willing to put himself on the line, him and Cindy on the line, to fight for what he believes in. And I admire that. Now, as you go over the next 8 days, and I'm sure you've already seen this, because I talked to some of you who have literally knocked on thousands of doors, having conversations with voters all across this state. I'm sure you're probably hearing a lot of the lies and the smears and all of these things that people are pushing out there, that Governor Pritzker's people are pushing out there. What this really is a way to try to distract people away from what's most important. Rather than saying, hey, here's my record. He's been governor for a little while now. Here's all the things. Hey, is crime better? No. Is education better? No. Is the economy better? No. They have nothing to stand on. So they resort to lies, attacks, and smears. They did that with me. They heard I was coming to town. Lies, attacks, and smears. It's the tactic that's being used all across the country. Let that be a red flag and a warning bell anytime you hear that. When you don't hear people standing on their record or speaking about their position and what they will do for you and your family, you might want to look somewhere else. I'm flying out tonight. I'm going to go out and try to help some other great Americans in other really close races across the country. But I'll close with this. We started our conversation with aloha. Aloha, believe it or not, does not mean hello or goodbye. It's always which one? You guys say it at the beginning and the end. What does it actually mean? Aloha has a really beautiful, powerful meaning. What aloha means is, alo means to share, and ha is the breath of life. So when we greet each other with aloha, what we're really saying is, I come to you with respect and a recognition that we are all connected. We are all God's children. And when we engage with each other in that way, we can set aside all the labels that people use to try to tear us apart and divide us, and connect heart to heart. So as you go out and knock on those doors, as you go out and make those phone calls, as you look in your phone and say like, oh, I haven't talked to so-and-so for a while, maybe I should give him a call, see what's going on. As you're thinking about those conversations, even as you may be confronted with someone who's screaming at you, calling you names. That's our challenge, right? Do you respond to hate with hate? No. It is our challenge and opportunity to be the kind of leader we want to see. When someone comes at you with hate and vitriol and name calling, just remember my voice in your ear say, aloha. Because this is the difference. This is the difference. When you are motivated by love and care for your kids, your family, your community, your state, this country, your love of freedom, you can't let anyone's darkness come in and take that away. Wow. How can you respond with anything but love and respect? Love does not mean weakness and rolling over for anybody. How many moms are in here? What would you do motivated by love to protect your child? Anything. There is nothing more powerful than love. And I'm talking about this because often in these last weeks of elections, people resort to fear and hate and anger. Now is the time when it's harder to choose to respond with love. Don't ever forget what you're fighting for. Don't ever forget who you're fighting for. And the fact that the very future of this country and our freedoms are what's at stake. We got to get it done, guys. Thank you so much.
Guys, here's the deal. Don't let J.B. Pritzker say that I didn't warn him. Because 120 days ago, I told J.B. to start packing his bags. 8 days from now, we're firing him and moving out. Friends, we're living a nightmare. Every 2 hours and 21 seconds, someone is shot in Chicago. Every 11 hours and 54 minutes, someone is killed in Chicago. 45,000 fewer jobs than 4 years ago when he started in Illinois. 125,000 fewer people working today than when J.B. Pritzker started 4 years ago.
Can anyone in this crowd, can anyone out there honestly tell me that you are better off today than you were 4 years ago? No. And she's exactly where she'd just come from. And American Heritage Girls is a group like Girl Scouts. And she said, my friend had to quit and stop going to American Heritage Girls because her mom and dad couldn't afford the gas.